There are many different reasons why your items are not selling on Poshmark. Today, we're going to go back to the basics. I'm going to be talking about 9 fundamental reasons your items may be just sitting in your closet, and I will also be sharing some tips on how to fix each one of those. The very first reason why, and I think the most important thing to pay attention to, is you need to grow your inventory. When I barely got started in this reselling business, I was in the mindset of buying things to resell, waiting for that stuff to start selling, and then going out to buy more inventory. But I learned real quickly that that is not the way this business works. If you think about reselling as one big raffle game, each piece of inventory that you have in your closet is like one ticket to play and one ticket to win at someone buying one of your items. And the more kinds of brands and styles and sizes and types of items that you have in your closet, the more chances that someone will come across something they are looking for in your closet. Another big important reason why you need a big inventory is because Poshmark is big on bundles. They make it really easy for buyers to bundle items together. So instead of just going in your closet and buying a top, maybe they'll also get some jeans or shoes to go along with it. Later on in the video, I will talk more in detail about bundles and how to use them. But for now, let's talk about how to fix this issue. And that is to source more and to list more. To source a lot more, you are going to have to find a few reliable sourcing spots around your area. To start off, you can always use Google to find different consignment shops, thrift shops, and another thing you can do is let your friends and family know that you are willing to take their gently used clothing that they no longer want. It took me a while to find a decent amount of spots to go to source around my area, so it may take some trial and error for you. You may end up going to a shop that has nothing that you can sell for profit, but that's what it's going to take. Going in, looking and trying, and eventually you will come across a place that will work for you, that you can keep going back to again and again. And hopefully you build out a good sourcing route that you can do on the weekly basis. And to list a lot more, you are going to have to set a time each and every single day to get your listings done. I've heard contradictory advice when it comes to listing. Some people think it is necessary to list every single day. So if you have 14 items, instead of listing them all at once, what you want to do is divide them out throughout a whole week and list 2 every single day. Other people say that is nonsense, that you should just focus on listing as much as you can whenever you can. I advise beginners to do the first way. Focus on listing the same amount of items every single day, and that is mainly because it will just build that habit for you. It will become something you get used to doing every day. I started listing 2 every single day. I would skip a day every now and then, but for the most part, I got those 2 listings done daily. Eventually, I moved on to 5 listings a day. Right now, I am at about 6 to 7 listings every day. And it's hard to remember now, but I want to say that when I hit the 200 active listings in my Poshmark closet, I started selling at least 1 item every day. When I got to about 250 to 350, I started selling 2 to 3 items daily. And now I am at about 450 to 480. It fluctuates all the time as things sell and I list more items. And now I can expect to get on average 5 to 6 sales every day. I'm not saying that's exactly how it will work for everyone, because the rest of the factors we're going to be talking about will play a big role in whether your inventory will sell or just sit, especially if you're doing this next thing, and that is listing the wrong brands and styles. In my opinion, learning what styles and brands to sell should be your #1 priority. Even if you have 1,000 active listings up on your closet, if they are not the right kind of items, items, they are not going to sell fast. And to learn what does do well and doesn't do well on Poshmark, it is going to take a lot of sourcing and a lot of listing. But there is one thing you can do to speed up the process, and that is to research the heck out of Poshmark. Aside from watching what sold videos and thrift hauls on YouTube, you should also be looking into the Poshmark platform. On the website and on the app, there are lots of different sections that tell you exactly what is selling right now. For example, Poshmark parties. These are virtual parties that Poshmark holds every day, all throughout the day. Sometimes they are themed around a certain style and sometimes around certain brands. A lot of them will come with a list of brands that will be accepted to each of those parties. If Poshmark is hosting a whole party around these brands, I think they are worth looking into, studying them and learning them, so that when you find them, when you're outsourcing, you can do comps and decide whether you want to buy them or not. Another thing is today's trends. You can find these in the shop section on the phone app, and there Poshmark lists out what's trending at the moment. Sometimes it's brands, sometimes it's styles, and it changes every day. So that's somewhere to look to find out what kind of things to buy at the moment. On their website, they also have something called trending styles. On top of the Poshmark home screen, you will see different markets. There's women, men's, kids, and when you hover over each one, it's divided into separate categories. One of these sections that's here is called trending styles. So this here, it's what's trending for women's styles at the moment. If we move over to the men's, here's what's trending for men, kids, and on as you go through each of the markets. And that right there is just scratching the surface. There are many more ways to deep dive into Poshmark to know what's selling. I will leave a video linked right here where I share how I research fashion trends on the app. There I go into all the methods we just talked about and many more in detail, and you can use all that info as a guide to pick up better brands and styles on your next sourcing trip. For now, if you stop doing this next thing, it'll go a long way, and that is listing out of season items. I'm not saying that a pair of sandals won't sell during the winter. What I am saying is that it will have like a 20, maybe 30% chance to sell. Whereas a nice coat has 60 to 70% chance of selling fast and for good money during the winter. And if that jacket is a very good brand, then it has 80, 90 or higher percent chance of doing really good. Now, all of those are just made up numbers, but I think you get the gist of it. You should be listing items that are for the season we are currently in. I do source out of season items. Sometimes I will just store them till the right season comes around. Other times I will go ahead and list them, but that is only if I don't have any sort of in-season items to list, because I would rather list something rather than nothing. But the idea is to always make in-season items a priority when sourcing and when listing. When searching for in-season items, pay attention to fabrics, to colors, and to any holidays coming up. For fall and winter, I would focus on long sleeve shirts, sweaters, boots, jackets, and layering pieces. The colors that do well are deep earth tone colors like dark reds, orange, and brown. Plaid patterns do really well during these seasons, as well as wool type fabrics. And for spring, we're going to go the complete opposite. The things you will focus on are sandals, shorts, dresses, and swimwear. You'll focus on bright colors, tropical patterns, and cotton and linen materials. Now that's just a broad overview, but that video that I mentioned earlier on how I research fashion trends will also help you stay up to date on what's trending as we transition into new seasons. But even if you have an item that is the right brand, the right style, and it is in season, you will still lower your chances of selling it if you have vague pictures. If you look at any top retail online store, you will see that their photography is very minimal, clear, and to the point. All they have up there is the item that they are selling, and that's it. and I advise that you follow that same protocol. Don't try to make your photos look cute by surrounding them and styling them with all sorts of objects. Also, don't add all sorts of text all over your pictures, like the size or the brand of the item, or that it is a host pic. All of that is just clutter, it's distracting, and it makes your pictures look vague. The fix here is to always opt for clear instead of cute and clever when it comes to your pictures. One way that these sites make their photography look minimal is by using white backgrounds. This makes for very clean photography, but it's also been said that photos with white backgrounds rank a lot higher on Google. So let's test that right now. I'm going to highlight this Beta brand slip-on pumps, paste it into Google, and see what search results come up. As you can see, over 90% of the photos that pop up have either a plain white background or a very minimalist type background. And you can even see that some Poshmark listings show up here on Google, so they often do. That's why it's important to make a good first impression. Make sure that you have the clean background and just clean photography overall, and also great lighting. I've gone through many lights over the years for YouTube and for reselling, and by far my favorite one is the newer ring light on Amazon. What I like about that one is that it is super sturdy. The ring light is super big and super bright, so it lights up my whole photo setup very well. Your lighting is going to require some investment, but this next thing won't, and that is to learn your camera. Whether you are using an actual camera or a phone to take your pictures, the slightest adjustments could greatly improve the quality of your photos. To learn what settings are best and different tips for the device you're using, just go to YouTube and search picture tips for and insert the name of the device you're using. You can also go check out this video here where I share not only tips to take better photos, but also how to take faster ones too. If you have all of those basics covered and you're listing items that are good brands and styles and they are in season, and you have very good clear pictures to go along with it, but your items are still sitting, it may be because your items are hard to find. When someone is on the hunt for a type of item that you happen to have in your closet, it should very easily show up in the search results. Say I was looking for some work shoes. I would go on here in the Poshmark search bar and type in comfy work shoes. And here are the results that show up. I'm going to open a few in a new tab to look through them. Here in the title and in the description, I can look at what words they use to describe these shoes. So we have comfort shoes here, and she has a bunch of tags listed down here. We see the day work, everyday, classic, office, and so much more. But basically, all of the words that I used in my search query up here show up in her title and in her description. Her title and her description are a lot shorter. There's not that many words, but I can see some of the words I used to search to find these shoes. Here's the word comfy and work as well. So when your listings have the words people are using to search for what they are looking for, they will show up more higher on the page. And also, we all have different ways of describing things. You may not search for comfy work shoes because you have different needs. Maybe you'd search for steel work shoes, nurse shoes, or walking sneakers. That's why it's important to put as many different variations of keywords as you can think of in your titles and descriptions. And that goes for other clothing categories as well. This here can be a shirt, it can be a top, it can be a blouse as well. The color can be red, rusty red, or even burgundy. So to fix your items not being found, you're going to want to create good findable titles instead. If I went on to list this top and just titled it something simple like cute long sleeve top, someone may come across it, someone may end up buying it, but I will increase my chances by a lot to get it found and sold more quickly if I titled it something like long bell sleeve shirt, burgundy red paisley print, v-neck flowy bohemian top, plus size 2X. That title there touches a lot more bases, and it includes a lot more descriptive keywords that someone who is looking for this kind of top could potentially be using. Learning various ways to describe your items is going to take some practice and doing lots and lots of listings. But there are 3 things that I can share with you to help you get there faster. And the first one is to use the Google Lens app. This is an app that you can download from your app store. Once you have it installed, all you have to do is take a picture of your item. Then Google will use that image to scour the internet and find that exact item and some that are similar to it. So what you're going to want to do is look through all of those search results and see what words these different sites are using to describe their items. Pay attention to the different words they use to describe the colors, the fit, the style of the item. And it's also a good idea to keep a notebook or a note in an app where you list out all the different keywords you are learning so that you can use them on your listings next time. Another thing you can do is use Google search. Search on Google types of plus whatever you want to learn more about. Say I want to learn more about jackets, then I would just search types of jackets. Then you'll switch it from all to images, and you will see lots of different pamphlets pop up, different guides that you can use as you're creating your titles. And you can do this with other categories like dresses, shirts, pants, and boots. The other thing that I have for you is to use title templates. And this is basically a pre-written title where you will just go in and fill in the blanks. The one that I use is brand, style name, short descriptor, color, material, another short descriptor, gender, and size. So for a sweater like this, I may come up with something like Ralph Lauren Sport, cable knit sweater, lime green, cotton pullover, women's size large. A lot of the times that works out great, but sometimes I will have to shorten that up a bit, but still that template helps me hit as many points as possible about the item, and I also get lots of keywords in there so that my item is more likely to be found. Along with short, undescriptive titles, another thing you want to avoid if you want your items to sell fast is not describing your items enough. On Poshmark, there are all sorts of buyers. Some of them make quick decisions. They see what they want, they purchase it outright or send an offer real quick. But there are many others that are a lot like me, and they want to know all the details before they make a buying decision. Like, what is the condition of the item? Does it have any flaws, any rips, stains, or scuffs? They want to know the material. I myself definitely want to see measurements before I buy something. And sometimes I'm doing some last minute shopping, so I want to know how fast can the buyer ship. If some of those things aren't answered either in the pictures or in the description, I will message the buyer to ask them about it. But while I'm waiting for an answer, I will search on Poshmark for other options or even on other platforms. And sometimes I will come across a better choice and purchase from someone else altogether. And the buyer from that first listing that I saw just lost a sale. You don't want this to happen to you, so make sure that you're including all the necessary information in your listings description. I choose to make my descriptions paragraph style. So I have different blocks of text and I use words in all caps to separate each section. And like with my listing titles, I also use templates for my descriptions. I always start my listings here on List Perfectly, and from here I will share them to eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. Here's what the listing page looks like when I'm starting from scratch. The first thing I always do is select the template up here, and these are templates that I created on List Perfectly myself, and then I'm able to use them again and again. So I would just search for what I am listing at that time. Say I was listing comfort shoes, I'll select that, and then it will pop up a whole description that's almost complete. All I will have to do is go in and complete these blanks in front of these words. If you're new to List Perfectly, I'll leave a tutorial linked in the description below, along with a coupon code so you can get a discount if you'd like to try it. Having a detailed description description will create less resistance for someone to buy from you because they don't have to take the time to message you and ask you questions and then wait for a response. Also, the description part of your listing is a perfect opportunity to add even more describing words that will help you get your item found. The way I do it is just one of many ways. You can also do bullet points for your description. You can write out smaller blocks of text, or you can just type out one small paragraph. As long as you have all the basic necessary info that someone needs to give them the confidence to go ahead and click that buy now button, or at least the make an offer button. Another thing that could be keeping your items from selling is that you're pricing your items too high or even too low. The problem with pricing your items too high is that people are going to pass right by it and move on to something else that it's priced lower. If everything is the same, it's the same condition, the same item, same size, same color, people are always going to go with the cheapest option. But having your items priced too low also has its drawbacks. Low prices can sometimes devalue your item. When people see something that is priced too low, it leads them to believe that something is wrong with it. The fix here is to do your comps and price accordingly. Comps is short for comparables, and that basically means that you're going to search for an item online, in this case Poshmark, because that's where you're selling, and you're going to use the search results to compare the different prices that are out there, and you're going to use all of that information to come up with your listing price. We're going to use this Cato top from earlier as an example. I'm going to be doing comps on this shirt with you so I can show you how that process works. I am going to search for Cato bell sleeve boho top. Then I will look at the first 3 to 4 rows and try to come up with a good medium by looking at the prices that everyone else has for their listings. So once I look at these first 3 rows, I see that people are listing it anywhere from $13 to $18. There will be some that are listed way higher or way lower. I don't think you'll be able to get $49 for a Cato top, so I'm just going to ignore that one. And if anything is listed like $5, $8, it's just people trying to get rid of stuff in their personal closet. They're not really reselling, so I ignore those as well. But after looking at these 2 to 3 rows, I think that a good price or a listing price for this would be about $15, maybe $17 or $18, since the top I have is a plus size. It is a larger size. But from here, you also want to look at the actual sold listings. So to do that, you'll just scroll down and add this filter that's here on the left-hand side under availability. And you'd go through the same process here with the sold listings. Just look at the first few rows and kind of come up with a good medium to know about how much these tops have sold for in the past. So after looking at both of these pages, the actual listings and the sold ones, I think that a good average is about 18, 17, maybe 16 at a minimum, but I want to make room for offers. So I listed this top at $22. That is the gist of doing comps, but it really can go a lot deeper than that. You can search for exact colors, exact styles and sizes as the item you have. You can also click into each individual listing to see when the item sold so that you can come up with a sell-through rate. But I think that right there, what I just shared, is a good start. Just look at the active listings and the sold listings to come up with a good medium and use that as your listing price. Over time, and as you start selling the same kind of items over and over again, you'll start to get a better idea as to what is a good price to ask for certain pieces. Another reason your items are not selling is because you're not using Poshmark selling tools. Poshmark wants you to make sales just as much as you want to make sales. It is a business after all. That's why they give you so many tools to help you. So if you haven't yet, you should consider learning and implementing Poshmark seller tools into your reselling routine on the weekly and even daily basis. I'm here on the Poshmark website, and I am going to give you just a quick rundown of the 4 most important seller tools Poshmark gives us to make more sales. But if you want to learn even more about one of these or even more seller tools, I will leave links down in the description of past videos I've made on all of this that I am about to talk about. The first thing is sharing. If this is not the first video you watch about reselling on Poshmark, I know you've heard how important it is to share items. And if you haven't heard all about sharing, all that means is to go onto your closet, go down to one of your listings, and click this little share button right here. And all you have to do is select my followers. Now this listing has just been shared to my followers on Poshmark. That is what sharing means. On your phone, when you share, it will show a lot of different other options like share via email, via message, and to other external social media sites. That's not what sharing means, or at least when I or other people talk about sharing. What we're referring to is clicking the share button to my followers, and that is it. And you will want to do this to each and every single one of your listings multiple times a day. The good thing is that Poshmark has made it a lot easier for us to share our entire closet with less clicks. To do that, just click this little tools icon at the top right hand side, click share to my followers, click select all. Right here it says 48 listings are selected, but if you keep scrolling down, that number will continue to increase. You just have to scroll down to make sure the listings load. Once you get to the very bottom of your closet and all your listings have been selected, you just click the share to followers button, and it will start to share each of your listings to your followers on autopilot. Sharing is important because it keeps your items updated. Take this one right here, for example, that I just shared to my followers. I'm going to copy the first part of the title, and I will paste it into the search bar on top as if I was searching for these shoes to buy. Then I'm going to open up the first 3 listings that show up, and I'll just click into each one to analyze what is going on here. Here it shows you when this item was last updated, and it was a minute ago. The next one is my item, and I updated it 2 minutes ago when I was showing how to share items. Next, we have this one that was updated 3 minutes ago. So what we can see here is that as we go on through the list of search results that it gave us in the beginning right here, the time gets higher and higher. So if I scroll down the page and I select 2 more items and check out their updates, these were updated 2 hours ago. These were updated 2 hours ago as well. So that's why it's important to share your items very often. It will keep them updated. Updated items show up higher in the search results, and those items that are higher up on the page have a higher chance to sell. I keep about 440 to 480 active items in my shop, and I share all of those about 13 times a day. If you don't have a lot of listings, it should be a quick process, especially if you use that bulk feature we talked about earlier right here. But to make it even easier for me, I use this tool called Flip. I just schedule my shares right here, select some of my preferences down here, click start, and it will share for me all throughout the day on autopilot. I don't even have to worry about it. It just runs in the background as I'm doing other things on my computer. Once you do up your sharing, you're likely going to start receiving a lot of likes on all of your items throughout your closet. And that is when this second seller tool comes into play. Offers to likers. If you are not using it consistently, you're probably missing out on many sales. I want to say over half of my sales on Poshmark come from this feature. To see who has liked your items, you'll just go to the news option on the phone or here on the website. Off to the left hand side, we'll just select likes. Here's someone who liked my item recently. I'll just click on this. And here I can see this offer/price drop blue button. And all of this will look very similar on the phone app as well. Then we'll just click offer to likers private. This edit listing price public is used for an entire different reason, which we're about to get into here shortly. Let's go ahead and click here on offers to likers. And here you'll put in your offer price, or you can use this calculator to choose a percentage instead. I'm going to go with 20%, apply offer. When you send out an offer to likers, you are required to put in a shipping discount. I always go with $5.95, and then you'll click submit. And to make this process easier, I also use the flip tool. I'll switch it from share to auto offers, and you can set your preferences here as well. 8 minutes after someone likes, they get an 18% off offer with $5.95 shipping. And I'll just click start to make sure that this goes out to every liker throughout the day. Another useful seller tool is closet clear out. This is a sale that Poshmark runs a couple of times a week. And on this day, if you lower the price of your item by at least 10%, Poshmark will pay the buyer's shipping. So this is when that edit listing price public comes into play. I will click here on this offer/price drop button and select the first option this time instead. That will take me straight to the price portion of my listing. I'll just click this calculator icon. Here is my original price. And here is 10% off that original price, which they call the suggested price. All I have to do is click apply suggested price, scroll down, and go ahead and click update on this item. And if today were closet clear out, all likers would receive a message letting them know I just dropped the price, and they can also get $4.99 shipping if they decide to buy. And this fourth seller tool is bundle sales. When I shop on Poshmark, I will always see what the seller has in their closet to see if there are other items I can make into a bundle. That way, I only have to pay shipping once. And that's how it works. When people buy items from your closet and they bundle them up, they only pay shipping once. You'll receive one shipping label, and all you have to do is add their bundled items into one single box. It's a win-win for everyone. You sell multiple items at a time, and the buyer saves on shipping as well. But if you want to encourage bundles even more, it's always a good idea to offer bundle discounts. As you can see at the top of my closet here, I created a banner that says if you bundle 2 or more items, you get 30% off. So that's one way you can advertise and encourage more bundles. Just create a banner that tells them about your bundle sale. Another way you can do it is by going to your profile picture, scroll down to account settings. On the left-hand side, select my seller discounts and switch the bundle discount from off to on. And here you can select your bundle sale. You can select the discount percentage. So I would select 30%. And the minimum items is 2. So as long as they're buying 2 items from my closet, they will get this percentage off. And now I would just click save down here, confirm and save. And now let's go back to my closet to see what this looks like. Here at the top left-hand side, there is now a banner that says 30% off 2 or more items from this closet. And when you click into a listing from my closet and scroll down, that will also be advertised down here where it says shipping/discount, and that will be underneath each of my listings in my closet as long as I leave that feature on. After all of that, if your items are still not selling, it could be because your items need to be updated. If you've had an item listed for a very long time and it still hasn't sold, or it's not getting any sort of attention in the forms of offers or likes, it could be that your item needs a do-over, or it's the wrong kind of item completely, and the best thing to do there is just delete the item from your shop altogether. So the fix for this issue is just that: either relist or delete your old items. Relisting means you're going to make a copy of a listing, make some updates, and then list it as a brand new listing. Doing this is going to get your items in front of more potential buyers, because on the website, Poshmark has a just in feature where they show newly listed items. This is personalized to each individual. It depends on what they've been searching for recently. That's what will show up in that section. Poshmark also gives buyers the option to sort their search results by just in. so that they see items that were newly listed first. On the app, they also recently added a option to save searches. So when someone is searching for something to buy, a blue text box will appear, encouraging them to save that search so that they are notified of newly listed items that are related to what they're looking for in that moment. Another important thing that relisting your old items will do for you is give you the chance to update those older listings. Maybe it's been a while and you've learned a lot of new keywords. Maybe you got better at pricing. You can take better pictures now, and going back and applying all of those new skills to your older listings can really go a long way. To relist an item, the very first thing you want to do is go to the very bottom of your closet where the oldest listings will be. To do that, just sort your items by just in by clicking here in this drop down menu and switching that. On the left hand side, we're going to change it to available items only so that it won't show you your sold listings. And from there, you just want to scroll to the very bottom of your closet. Once you are here, what you want to do is evaluate all of these old listings. Some of them may have been just completely bad pickups and you'll just have to delete the item altogether, cut your losses, go ahead and redonate the item or take it to a consignment shop. But some may still have a chance if you update some of the things we've been discussing. So let's say that I chose to relist these boots right here. I'll just go ahead and click on those. There is an option to edit your listing with the pencil icon right next to it. That's where you want to click. Go to the very bottom of this listing and there will be a delete listing option or a copy listing. We're going to click on the copy listing and click yes. And from here, you will just determine what changes need to be made to this listing to get it sold. Maybe you can take better pictures. Here on the title, you do want to delete this part that says copy that Poshmark will put there when you make a copy of your listing, and go ahead and create a title that will help your item get found. Other things you can do is add more keywords to your description. Maybe you can change your category as well. Certain things can belong to multiple categories. So for women's shoes, say you had some boots with heels, they could go under heeled boots. They could also go under lace-up boots if they have that. Over the knee boots, there's just different categories that they could fall under. So maybe you can switch up the category to see if that gives it more exposure to get it sold. You also may want to check your listing price. Maybe go ahead and redo comps so that you can come up with a new listing price, and maybe that will get it sold as well. And when you're done with all of this, you'll just click next and go ahead and list this item, and don't forget to go back and delete the original. That is one way to do your relisting. The problem with using the Poshmark copy feature is that it will only work for items that have been listed for 60 days or more. If you use that copy feature any sooner than that, it's not going to consider that listing as a brand new listing, and it's not going to give you all of those benefits that we talked about earlier. That is why I choose to use List Perfectly to relist my items instead. That, and I also relist on Poshmark and Mesquite at the same time, and with List Perfectly, it's just a lot easier to do that. I do have a complete tutorial all about how I relist my items, along with many relisting tips. That video will be linked here and down in the description as well. All of the things that we've talked about so far, you can learn and you have some control over them, at least to some extent. This next one, not so much, and that is that you need to give it time. I started reselling on Poshmark in 2018. Initially, it was just to get rid of stuff from around my home. I used to take all of that to a consignment shop, but I thought that maybe selling them on Poshmark, I could get more money. So I listed some stuff, it started selling, and then eventually I started getting encouraged by watching other reseller YouTubers, and I began working on turning this into a little side hustle. I would pick up items from thrift shops every now and then when I was running errands and it was right there. I would just stop in and pick up a few items. It wasn't until 2021 that I decided to turn this into an actual business. So that is 4 years in and 1.5 years all in with reselling. But even before I started my Posh account, I had been dabbling in online side hustles and offline as well for many years. And many of the skills that I learned through all of that carried over into my reselling business. So that's over 10 years of business experience that I'm standing on right now. I'm not saying that it's going to take you the same amount of time as it took me to start selling your inventory consistently. Depending on your life situation, you could see success within a year or maybe just a few months. But what I am saying is that it is going to take at least some time to get this reselling business down pat, because you need some experience to become a better sourcer, a better lister. You need a handful of sales to get your views up, to get that fast shipper status, and also to get some repeat buyers. All of those things are going to come with time, but it is very doable, and that I am certain of. Here off to the side, I will leave a playlist with many more reselling tips so that you can learn more on how to make reselling work for you. I appreciate you watching this video today, and I'll see you next time.